they're in it to just get paid and make all of these friends. They're in it because they love this music and they love what they do. And if you have to wait 5 years for it, then you wait 5 years for it.
When you get an award for something that you love doing, you put your time in on working on it, not because you want to be, well received, but because you believe in what you're doing, then that's what matters.
On the 20th of March 2003, the long-awaited fourth album, simply self-titled Deftones, finally hit the shelves. The album rapidly became a runaway success, with fans eager to hear where the fluctuating Deftones sound would lead them next, as it had done numerous times before.
The newest Deftones album is probably, in my opinion, the most interesting one. They've all, talk about, going through a bunch of crap throughout your career and your life. Well, this is the latest one, and I can't say with any certainty what those guys have gone through personally or band-wise, but they're still together.
With their self-titled Deftones album, the group really wanted to break away even more that, okay, we even did this cooler stuff than we've ever done on White Pony, but let's still try and even challenge ourselves more, and that seems to be a recurring theme with the band. So there are these pronounced elements of the music being very mellow, almost dreamy-like, but then also at times being super, super heavy.
It's fantastic. Having it before it actually came out was fantastic, and not being able to share it with anyone was kind of hard, but at the same time being so excited that when it came out and they had a home show the day that their album came out, I think that was perfect. I don't know if it was planned or coincidence or whatnot.
Probably just the next logical step in their journey. It's clean, it's tight, really strong. They seem to have been able to sharpen their skills as songwriters, which is something they've been working on the whole time, but they also seem to have been able to get comfortable again with that rage, that that cathartic release.
The elevation of the fans here in Sacramento and having a packed house in your hometown, and then you get to say, and by the way, go buy my album that came out today, or being able to sign your album that came out today. I think that the fans have learned to appreciate this.
In a way, with just the album being self-titled, I think it really shows that, this is who we are, a band that can challenge ourselves. We can be heavy, but we can also be dreamy and quiet, and, we can have the heavy, kinds of Slayer influences, but also maybe a group like My Bloody Valentine can also fit into that.
Chino and his hidden ways of saying things and being metaphorical and whatnot, this time around you can't really tell if it's for real or if it's about a specific person, or if he was fighting with Chi that day or fighting with Stefan that day or trying to record that day and two of the kids weren't there, or someone brought their kids too. It's just all this chaos going on, and I think that it's kind of a reflection of their lives right now.
The Deftones have become one of the greatest acts to emerge from California in recent years. Their steadfast devotion to their Sacramento roots has enabled them to maintain a level head towards their lives, their fans and their music. Surely a recipe, if ever there was one, for lasting stability and success.
Fame, as far as Abe, Chino, and Chi are concerned, hasn't changed them a bit.
These guys are a bit more grounded, I think, because of where they've come from. They, by and large, were raised in South Sac, which is, not the best neighborhood.
Steph was like made for stardom. Basically when they got signed, that was like a signed steel stamp on Stefan's ass, as far as like, I'm a certified rock star. That was basically him saying,
As much, if not more than most artists, they appreciate, what they have. They appreciate the success they have.
I know that they're all getting a little fatter, but besides that, I think they're all pretty much the same guys.
If you meet the guys on the street, just cold, you'd never pick them out of a crowd.
Deciding who your friends are and who your friends aren't, and accepting the ones that aren't, and getting used to that is one of the hardest things that I think I've seen Chino go through.
everybody has just a lot more of a responsible attitude now, you know, as far as like what they know that they need to do, versus before it was more or less just like, you know, breaking musical boundaries or doing things that they felt were needed in music. Now it's like they're doing things they feel are needed in their lives.
I think right now family is very important to him, and I think trying to figure out his place in the family and having a family and learning how to be a father and a husband when you're never around over 10 years, you know, you're home once a month. I think that since they've been home over this last year before this new album came out, that he's had a lot of time to find his place.
They have proved themselves as ever-changing pioneers in a new genre of music. Where they lead, many are sure to follow.
Stefan's in love with rock and roll. Stefan's in love with being a rock guy. He will find any way, I think, to just be big on stage. I think all the guys are into that, really, but Stefan's just, he's just the funniest to me. I love him. He's just, I don't know, he just makes me laugh. He's just so into that.
I think as the band continues to grow artistically and commercially, I have a suspicion that they're going to be a lot more famous than they are now. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more, you're going to see a lot more of a radio presence.
I think that Chino is going to have a lot of irons in the fire. I just see him as somebody who is going to, if for some reason the Deftones ever broke up or anything like that, he seems like the guy that would be just collaborating with everyone under the sun. Even if the Deftones never broke up, he seems like the kind of artist who is going to, again, part of that whole challenging side of his creativity. He seems like someone who's very prone to working with a lot of different people.
I mean, instead of going out and taking every big tour that's been offered them or every opportunity to exploit what they do, they've really held back. They've really been very choosy as what they do.
I wouldn't be surprised if the guy released an acoustic album of him singing songs with just him and a guitar. I mean, he's got a great voice. He's a great songwriter.
More growth, good music. One of them bands that, you know, 20 years from now, and they got like 25 albums, you know, people are still gonna be buying them.
You know, there were days way back when we did shows and, you know, we'd get the bands to play acoustic, be it Far, Deftones, or whatever. They would be remarkable performances, and I haven't seen them do anything like that in years.
Having taken the time to establish themselves in their home lives as well as their music, they are now having the worldwide success that they surely deserve.
The future for the Deftones, in my eyes, hopefully is endless. And I know with the boys, they are not planning on disbanding anytime soon, or at all for that matter.
People are gonna look back at the first 2, 3 albums and go, classics. The way to do it. Started a movement, started a new sound.
I think one of them said in an interview that there's going to have to be a death in order for the Deftones to stop.
As long as they stay the way they are, and they work the way they are, the chemistry is the same, I don't see the Deftones going anywhere until they decide that they don't want to be the Deftones anymore.
Shattered